Hi everyone, it's Lesley from Hungry Heavy Crafts and I have another card to share with you today. Another one made using the new Mama Elephant Unicorns and Rainbow stamp set. And one of the greetings says, "Be happier than a unicorn eating cake on rainbow." And I thought it was so cute, so I just simply had to make it. So here's the stamp set. I've laid out some supplies that I'm going to be using for today's card. I've got my little unicorn here that looks to the left. And I'm also going to be using some dies. I'm going to be using this, which is the the Lawn Fawn 4-bar stitched rectangles dies, and then also this, which is the simple stitched borders die. And these are quite new dies. I just got them quite recently. So I'm going to start off by making my rainbow. And I'm using that curve, that simple stitched border curve die, to create a collection of these curved lines. So I'm going to keep on running it through my Cuttlebug, so I have 7 of these little curves, and I'm going to color them in rainbow colors. And I'm using my distress inks for this and a mini ink blending tool. And I've got the colors listed at the bottom of the screen there. I have festive berries for the red, the orange is fossilized amber, then squeezed lemonade, twisted citron, salty ocean, wilted violet, and seedless preserves. Then that little circle of paper is just a piece of scratch paper I had on my desk, and I used it to help me hold on to the pieces of card so I didn't get my fingers all inky. Now I've just laid these all out together to get a look at what the rainbow would look like, but I wanted to reactivate the ink again. Using some clean water and a paintbrush, I splattered it with some water, left it for about 30 seconds, then I'm coming back in with a paper towel just to soak up some of that water, and it gives a nice distressed look. Now I'm going to use this stitched 4-bar rectangle to cut a frame out of some Tim Holtz watercolor cardstock again. And this is going to be the inside panel of my card. I'm going to stamp first and foremost my greeting up near the top using Memento Tuxedo black ink. And when I have that in place, then I can build the rest of my project around that. I know that I want my rainbow to come in off the left hand side, so I want to create a bit like an inlaid effect with this cloud border die, which is from the Mama Elephant Landscape Trio die set. I don't want the panel to fall apart, so I'm overhanging my card off my my Cuttlebug plates, so it actually only cuts. This is called partial die cutting. It only cuts part of the way through. And you'll see what I mean in a second when I bring it back from my machine. So you can see here that it's cut on the left and on the right, and it doesn't meet in the middle, but that's okay because my rainbow will actually cover it up. I've cut another one of those 4-bar rectangles just so that I can then cut out another little cloud to go on the bottom part, and that will cover the end piece of my rainbow. And I thought the bottom left looked a little bare, so I came back to this inside bit here, and I'm going to cut another cloudy section from that, and it fits along perfectly because I've used the same inside piece to create that cloud. Now, to make my rainbow a little bit more manageable, I'm going to stick all the pieces together onto a piece of scratch paper. I've just ripped this out of a notebook that was on my desk, covered it with some Tombow Mono liquid adhesive, then laid down all my little rainbow stripes, and very carefully I'm using a craft knife to trim off the excess. Now while that's drying, I'm going to move on to my stamped images. This little piece of card is the leftover piece, and I've turned it over to the smooth side and stamped it once again using my Memento Tuxedo black ink. It didn't stamp perfectly, so I touched up the mane with a Copic multi-liner, and I'm using my watercolors here just to add some color. I don't want to go over the top of this little guy. I want a little pop of color, but I actually want this card to be mostly white, just to give that bright white sort of feeling of being in the clouds. The watercolors that I'm using today are some tubes of Winsor & Newton liquid watercolors, like the ones that come in a tube. And I'm not doing any fancy techniques, so you don't have to worry too much about that. But they are fun. They're fun to use. So let's just add a little bit more paint to this cake, and it's going to be a chocolate cake. And I'll add a little bit of grey shadows to this cloud. Once they were dry, I went round it with my scissors to fussy cut, leaving a little bit of a border all around the outside edge. You can get matching dies for this stamp set. I just haven't invested in that yet. Okay, so now I'm at the stage where I'm going to think about assembling the rest of my card. I don't want that gap to show, so I want to make sure that my rainbow overlaps that. And I'm holding it in place while I bring back that stitched 4-bar stitch rectangle die. And I'll tape it down and run that through my Cuttlebug. And this means that my rainbow now will have the stitching along the edges to match the rest of the card. Taking some paper and folding it to make the base of my note card. And I've added some glue to the front panel just in the middle, not on the edges. That means when I line up the frame, I can then slot the middle piece in its place, remove the frame, and continue with the rest of my card. But I know that it's centered exactly where it needs to be. So I've stuck down my rainbow now, and I'm going to assemble the rest of these clouds. And this one, I'm going to tuck the top on the left just behind the rainbow. And then the other side is going to be on top of the rainbow, and that gives more of a dimensional effect. Now let's add the frame. And I'm using some Tombow Mono liquid adhesive for this. So this little guy is going to go here, and then the cake is going to go around about here. Now this was the part in the card where I thought, oh, I like this, but what I don't like is the cloud has the black ink and everything else didn't have any black ink on it. So I thought I would actually boost up this cloud a little bit by using another little piece of die cut and create another bit of cloud peeping up. And then I'm going to trim away the cloud that's actually underneath this cake, leaving a little bit of a point which will allow me to tuck the cake in underneath that cloud. And I used my liquid adhesive to secure that in place. Then I decided I wanted to give this project a bit of a frame. So I took some funky foam and I covered it on the front and the back with some stick-it adhesive. And once I'd covered the front and the back, I ran it through my Cuttlebug just to make sure it's stuck on there nice and securely. Then after that, I ran it through with the two dies stuck together with some washi tape to create that frame. So now I know that it will fit perfectly. In order to stick it down, what I do is I rip the opposite corners and peel back like two little handles almost. That means that I can position the two sticky corners and then pull either one of these little tags or handles and expose the tape underneath. And that's a really simple way of making sure that you're lining up your project. If you take all the sticky bits and expose all the sticky bits all at once, then very often it can mistakenly stick to the wrong bit or go a little bit skew with. To finish off this project, I'm adding a little tiny bit of Wink of Stella because I think all unicorns are sparkly. Thank you so much for watching the video today. Please do give me a thumbs up if you liked it, and you can visit me over at hungryheffycrafts.com for more of my projects. Bye! Have a great day!